What key message would you like to share with a global audience under that umbrella?
Well, thank you so much for that question. Actually, we didn't really decide on the theme. The government of Zimbabwe decided on the theme mainly because they're going to be the host of our Conference of the Parties this year in July, which is going to be the COP15 of our
Mm.
convention. And why this theme? Because really, in their view, and also within the view of the world, is why do we need to protect these wetlands? We need to recognize that protecting wetlands is important for our collective future. So, every 2nd of February, we celebrate World Wetlands Day globally, every community, every country, every location. And so this theme this year really just spotlights the element of connectivity and the element of collectivity. The
Mm.
very fact that, one wetland system upstream of one country has implications downstream of another location. So, which is why protecting them collectively is very, very important. And we've seen the impacts of climate change on many of these systems manifesting either in floods, too much
Mm.
water, or in droughts, too little water. So, wetlands are absolutely critical, really, if they're managed well and protected and sustainably used, which is why we refer to wise use as a convention. And as a result, this is why the theme is focusing on protecting wetlands for our common future, because that future that we're talking about is a very unpredictable and complex future, one that's heating up very quickly. The planet is heating up very quickly, and the manifestation of change is usually around wetland systems.
You mentioned COP15 there. I'm curious, how does World Wetlands Day campaign and the themes there tie into a broader objective of the conference?
Right. A conference of the parties is when countries come together to
Mm.
really agree and discuss and really firmly put into position how is it that they're going to manage these vital and important ecosystems, and why at this juncture, and which is why we're taking this journey from World Wetlands Day all the way to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. And really, the purpose of that meeting will be for the world to come together to then agree in common interest to say, how are we going to safeguard these ecosystems? But it's not just safeguarding. What kind of investment are we going to put in terms of resources, in terms of human resources, in terms of financial resources, technological resources where necessary?
Mm.
What are we going to do? Because many of us, in fact, all of us on the planet, depend on a wetland somewhere, maybe in a city where we live, which is getting warm very quickly. And because we have a green space and we have a wetter space, it's actually wonderful to be able to feel the system, or the city much cooler because the wetland is there. So it's an important moment in our history, but also at the same time, there'll be really a discussion to promote the element of synergies. We
Mm.
cannot not talk about wetlands and food systems. We cannot not talk about wetlands and energy. And by the way, we're going to be having the COP on the Victoria Falls, which is on the Zambezi River. And you may be aware that this region this last year has faced the most extreme drought, resulting in a lot of challenges in the
Mm.
generation of electricity because most of the electricity generated is hydropower based. So wetlands are very, very much important. And also for social cohesion, they're extremely, extremely important.
What would be the priorities for this year's campaign?
Well, the priority, I'm actually traveling to Zimbabwe in the coming week.
Mm.
Firstly, to visit the site of our soon-to-be COP, which is I'm excited about, but also because the government of Zimbabwe is hosting
Mm.
us as a convention, and I'm really excited about that. And part of my visit there is really to spotlight some extremely vital and yet fragile ecosystems.
Mm.
Zimbabwe as a country is one country that has these very special wetland systems called dambos. You see the green vegetation above these wetland ecosystems, but you hardly see the water. But what a lot of people do not realize is that the wetland itself and the aquifer below is the reservoir and lifeline for many communities, for agriculture, for water supply, for birds, and many other species. So this this campaign this year is also a demonstration of the element of, as I said earlier on, of intersectionality.